Tonight, if you sleep somewhere new, part of your brain will refuse to rest. You won't notice it happening. You'll just wake up tired. You'll blame the mattress. You'll blame the noise outside. You'll blame the pillow that isn't yours. But the real answer is far stranger. One half of your brain never went to sleep at all. Scientists have a name for this. They call it the first night effect. It happens in hotel rooms, in a friend's guest bedroom, in a tent halfway up a mountain, anywhere that isn't home. Researchers at Brown University wanted to know why. Neuroscientist Yuka Sasaki led a study where volunteers slept in a lab hooked up to brain scanners on 2 separate nights. The first night was different, always different. On that first night, one hemisphere of the brain stayed in a lighter stage of sleep than the other. The left hemisphere specifically. It kept working, listening, watching for anything that might be wrong. That's strange, isn't it? Your brain splitting itself in two, one half resting, one half standing guard. But it isn't strange at all if you think about where you came from. Picture your ancestors 40,000 years ago, a small group moving across open land, following food, following water, staying ahead of winter. Most nights they slept in a place they knew, a cave they'd used before, a shelter they'd built with their own hands. But sometimes they didn't. Sometimes a storm forced them somewhere new. Sometimes a hunt ended far from home and night fell before they could get back. Sometimes they had to sleep in unfamiliar territory, surrounded by trees they didn't recognize, sounds they'd never cataloged, ground they'd never tested for safety. And in that unfamiliar place, sleeping fully, completely with both halves of the brain switched off could get you killed. A predator doesn't care that you're tired. A rival group doesn't wait for you to wake up. The environment you don't know is the environment that hasn't proven itself safe yet. So the brain adapted, found a workaround. Instead of shutting down entirely, it posted a guard. One hemisphere would sleep. The other would stay just alert enough to notice a change, a footstep, a shift in the wind, a sound that didn't belong. This isn't unique to humans either. Ducks do it. Dolphins do it. Certain birds do it mid-flight, sleeping one half of the brain at a time so they never fall out of the sky. Researcher Niels Rattenborg has spent years studying this exact behavior in birds, and what he found lines up almost perfectly with what Sasaki found in humans. Different species, same solution. Sleep with one eye open, so to speak, until the place around you earns your trust. Here's the part that should make you pause. Your ancestors needed this system maybe a handful of times in their whole lives. A storm, a long hunt, a migration to new land. You might trigger it every single week. A business trip, a weekend at a friend's place, a hotel room on vacation. Your first night in a new apartment, surrounded by boxes, in a bedroom that doesn't feel like yours yet. Every time that ancient guard system switches on. Not because there's an actual predator in the closet. Not because the hotel is dangerous. But because your brain doesn't know the difference between a lion in the dark and a room it hasn't mapped yet. Cognitive scientist Masako Tamaki, who worked alongside Sasaki on the original research, found something else worth knowing. The effect fades fast. By the second night in the same place, the asymmetry disappears. Both hemispheres sleep normally again. Your brain runs its check, finds no threat, and stands down the guard, which means the room isn't the problem. Time is the fix. Think about what that means for how you live. You don't need a better mattress on night one. You don't need blackout curtains or a white noise machine, though they don't hurt. What you actually need is for your brain to finish its inspection, to confirm on its own ancient terms that this new place is safe enough to fully let go in. There's something almost moving about that if you sit with it. Every hotel room you've ever slept badly in, your brain was doing exactly what it was built to do, standing watch, protecting you. Running a program written tens of thousands of years before hotels existed, before beds existed, before roofs existed. It doesn't know you're safe. It only knows you're somewhere new. And that single fact explains so much more than bad sleep. It explains why children cry the first night at a new house, even a nicer one. It explains why soldiers report their deepest exhaustion isn't from marching, but from never fully resting in unfamiliar terrain. It explains why sleep researchers recommend arriving at a new destination a day or two early before anything that requires real rest, a competition, an exam, a big presentation. Your body is still negotiating with a world that stopped being dangerous in most of the ways that used to matter a very long time ago. But the negotiation hasn't caught up. It's still running the same protocol your ancestors needed to survive a night in open country. So the next time you toss and turn in an unfamiliar bed, you're not broken. You're not doing something wrong. You are, in a very real sense, still that person on the hillside 40,000 years ago, listening for what might be out there, waiting for the dark to prove itself harmless. And somewhere around the second night, it always does. Tonight, if you sleep somewhere new, part of your brain will still refuse to rest. But now you'll know exactly why. And maybe That alone will help you sleep a little easier.